Hello everyone, look at this. I have two cowboy journals to show you. I'm so excited that I have two of them done, and the other two are getting close. There's this one, it's not sewn together yet, but I've got the cover made and it's all ready to be sewn in. And then I have this one, the pages are done. I still have to construct the cover, and then that will be ready to be sewn together. But let's just go through these two. We'll start with Mavericks because that's the first one that I did. So I did make some charms for the spine. You can see I used this khaki and cream colored ticking on the spine, and then this gimp trim. And then I used this really pretty turquoise velvet ribbon with the pink rose and the star. I love that. And this bead that Jill made, and a little boot and a turquoise bead with some silver, and then this stone piece. So it's just a small little dangle. And I fastened it with a hitch fastener and a hair tie. So there's the inside. I covered it with this really pretty scrapbook paper from Cosmo Cricket. And there's a book plate from jeepers, I can't remember anybody's name anymore. Rachel, Roxy Creations. There we go. All right, so here's the first collage with a children's book illustration and some brands, cattle brands from one of my books, and then this was from a children's book, just a quote, and some washi tape, some vintage lace on the edge of the page. My friend Elaine, a subby, sent me some of these, they're gift tags, and they had a white ribbon in them. They came like this. So I just took the ribbon out and stuck them in there for a cute little journaling card. So thank you, Elaine. She sent them to me, and I just went through and tucked one in a pocket in each of the journals. Here's one of the trivia cards that features cowgirls on the front with quotes from them. And then when I got my new printer and set it up, I was looking for something to print, and I happened to see these cowboy tags that I had purchased, and I forgot who I purchased them from. I'll have to look and link it in the description box, but I think they were, maybe these are ones that are $1 for each digital, and one was a sheet of cowboy tags and one was a sheet of cowgirl tags. So I put a bunch of them in each journal also. Did some stamping on coffee dyed paper. There's a little ruffle there with some handmade paper behind it. There's one of the tags we made in a video. This book is from a book on how to paint Western scenes. I love this book. I just love the brown, kind of sepia colored illustrations in that book. So I use them quite a bit, those illustrations. There's another stamp. We made this pocket on a video, and I just put a scrap piece of paper in there for journaling, and then one of those little printable tags. I just put a piece of brown paper that you can write on and a stamped image there. Really pretty piece of art by Andrew Wyeth. This is vintage pink burlap and a vintage piece of crochet lace. This illustration came out of a really fun little children's reading primer. So I stamped on it, cut that word out from one of the books. This is handmade paper with a stamp on it. And then I stamped that on brown paper and glued it on. So I just did a little collage on there and then stitched around it. It's a coffee dyed graph index card. I love this stamp. And this is a fabric flip with feed sack fabric, vintage burlap, and a vintage crocheted doily piece. I'm sorry. And a little tiny brown, kind of like a cardstock pocket, and one of the digital tags. This one has a little collage with another illustration from a children's book, and then this little cactus piece is from an iron-on transfer. And a quote from the book, children's book, says, "Tell us about your ranch." This is a piece of wallpaper. I forgot to mention that in the first. This is wallpaper. And this is from a book of American costume. So these are pictures from the 19th century West. So I thought that was appropriate to just stick one in there. And another of the Cowgirl trivia tags, cards. For this damask bag, I just glued a piece of denim looking scrapbook paper on there. And this is a piece from the Cowboy Encyclopedia. Handmade paper here, and one of the illustrations from a book. We made these cards, journaling cards, on a video. I also like that little stamp. Bead sack fabric with these frontier ladies going to town with their little parasols. There's a little piece of vintage burlap there. And a piece of lace. We made these tags on a video. I like the pink burlap tab. And there's another one of these, and I forgot to punch it. This flaps open so you can have a little extra writing space. I found that if you flip it over like that, you can write on it. You can't really write on it while it's hanging off the page. Here's the other side of that. Here's a tuck spot I made with an illustration from a children's book. I just glued this happy cowboy who's getting his dinner onto some craft cardstock and glued it on as a tuck spot. Coffee dyed index card with a stamp on it and another of the digital tags. There's a calf that I ironed on the transfer onto this muslin and then embroidered the calf and included him in this fabric flip. This is the book that I used more pinks and more feminine touches. They all have some, but this one I did more. That's why it got this pretty ribbon, because this was the only book that didn't have a male figure on the front. There's a postage stamp with William S. Hart. I've never heard of him, but apparently he was a movie cowboy, because this stamp set had Roy Rogers and I think John Wayne and Tom Mix, but I've never heard of this guy. And here's the final collaged page. It says, "Along the trail." There's a guy with a bunch of cattle. Looks like they're on the trail. And another piece of scrap wallpaper. This is a gorgeous illustration from a children's book. A trivia card and a tag. I did a lot of tags, cards, and pockets on video, but I also created some and added some that weren't on video just because I needed more places like that. I needed more places to put tags and things because I had so much stuff to use. So here I just glued on a scrap of scrapbook paper and a library pocket that I had made a long time ago out of this Western paper from Stampin' Up. Added a postage stamp of a horse, and there is a definition. This is one of the embossed tags that we did on a video. It's an encyclopedia definition there. And another one of the cowboy images from the fashion or costume book. A little scrap there to write on. Again, a scrap of scrapbook paper. You can write on this, and the definition from the Cowboy Encyclopedia. Here's some buffalo. This is from the book called Smokey. Smokey is the name of the horse, and some of the illustrations were pretty exaggerated of this horse. I don't know, they were really good illustrations for children. You can see the look on his face. It's kind of realistic, but kind of cartoonish too. And this is the description of Maverick, where the word Maverick came from. And I read that to you in a different video, but I included it in this book because this book is called Mavericks. And I love this fabric flip because of this blue vintage tassel with the crochet. I love that. And it looks nice with that blue paisley fabric. And there's a little cowboy sitting on a hay bale. You can write on that note. And there's a statue. I think that might be Frederick Remington. In Corning, New York, which is a little over an hour from me, there's an art museum that has a lot of Remington work in it. And then there's Tom Mix and the final little pocket with a little tag in it. Now, I'm not sure if I've made contact, if those who asked for both of these books have actually made contact with me. Again, after they commented that they wanted the books, they need to contact me at my Etsy store. I know one person did, but she wasn't the first one to ask for this one. Well, for one of them, I don't remember now. I have to look at the messages, but they need to contact me in my Etsy shop. So, as for now, I'm not going to be listing them, but if I don't find the people that wanted these, I'll let you know that they're being listed. I'm pretty sure this one is taken. So this is the one we changed the title to Cowboy Fun. We added this piece of a braided western belt and this leather book plate, which I've glued backwards so that the suede part is on the front, but that's okay. And I love these little brads that looked western to me. And then again, I made a bead dangle. This one has a horse and a little cowboy hat. There's a turquoise. This one has two beads made by Jill. That one and this one. I love this fabric. It's Laura Ashley, and I guess Perio sent it to me because she's the one that recognized it as that Laura Ashley fabric. So I'm thinking she's the one that sent it to me. And it is perfect for this cover. The colors are just great. There's kind of a reddish tone to this photo, and there's reddish tone here, rust, and of course the green. So I'll just quickly go through this one. It's got all the same elements. Wallpaper. Now this one has the tag with the boots, the cowboy boots, and then this companion information card that talks about the different elements of the boots and why they are the way they are. It's interesting. This is another picture of Smokey. I think this is from the Smokey book also. There's some more embroidery that I did of a brand. You could put a picture on this page or glue something that you can write on. And I finally got to use that quote that I cut from a children's book. Uncle Rex was a children's favorite uncle. He owned a large ranch. This is actually from the Wells Fargo storybook, the little golden book that was really old. But he looks like a cowboy here, so I put that quote in there. This one is a stamp of Buffalo Soldiers. There's the wallpaper, there's a little boot tag. There, that was glued in there. I have to glue that corner down, so I'm going to stick it right there so I remember to go back and do that. There's another one of those tags, and this is a really cool beadsack fabric with the cowboy print on it. This is vintage green crochet trim. There's John Wayne. And an illustration from Smokey. This is just a piece of muslin with some lace across the top and a piece of crocheted, vintage crochet there. There's a fabric flip with that plissé cowboy print fabric. And this is a piece of trim with little wooden beads on it. This one has Roy Rogers, and there's this cute little cartoon cowgirl. His saddle was very heavy and made for comfortable riding and hard wear. Another piece of the wallpaper, and this collaged and stamped tag or card. Oh, they're right next to each other. There's a postcard of a the original Texas steer, copyright 1907. Dear Homer, you must not think all Texas cattle are like these are, so do not laugh at it. Goodbye from Aunt Bertha. This was sent to Mr. Homer Eddy in Detroit, Michigan, 92 5th Street. Do not laugh at it. Here's another picture of Smokey. And Tom Mix. And here's the little cowboy that goes with that little cowgirl. So that's 2 of the 4 cowboy books done. I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you so much for following along with me in this kind of a long series. And I really appreciate all of the comments that you've left. I always look for your comments, and I don't always have time to respond. I try to. I can read them on my phone, but I don't respond to them until I'm on my laptop. And usually I just like them or heart them, but sometimes I will actually leave an answer, but I do read them all. So thank you very, very much for your comments. Thanks for your support, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.